Welcome to today's Catholic Daily Readings from Christus Dominus Bread of Life. A reading from the first letter of St. John. We love him because he first loved us. If anyone says that he loves God and yet he hates his brother, he is a liar. For he who does not love his brother whom he sees, how is he able to love God whom he does not see? And this is the commandment that we have from God, that he who loves God must also love his brother. Everyone who believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. And everyone who loves God who begot him also loves him who has been born of him. In this way we know that we love the sons of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not heavy. For all that is born of God overcomes the world, and this is the victory that overcomes the world, our faith.
The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has anointed me to bring good news to the poor, to proclaim freedom to captives, sight to the blind, release to the oppressed. Today, this is fulfilled in your hearing. Oh God, with your judgment endow the king, with your justice, the king's own son. He shall govern your people with mercy, and your afflicted ones with gentle hands. From fraud and violence he will redeem them. Precious is their blood in his sight. He sees the ones no one sees. He hears the ones no one hears. Lord, every nation on earth will adore you. Every heart will finally know your name, not by the sword, not by the crown, but by mercy poured out on the lowly and the lost. May his life be prayed for continually, day by day. May his blessing be spoken. May his name be blessed forever, as long as the sun still gives light. In him all the tribes of the earth are blessed. In him every wound finds its voice. Find joy. Lord, every nation on earth will adore you, not in fear, not in chains, but in wonder, in freedom, in light. Lord, every nation on earth will adore you. We waited in the dark for centuries. We sang the promises through our tears. And now you are standing among us, saying today, I am here. On earth will adore you, not because you conquered us, nation on earth will adore you.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. And Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit to Galilee, and his fame spread throughout the entire region. And he taught in their synagogues, and he was magnified by everyone. And he arrived at Nazareth, where he had been raised. And he entered into the synagogue, according to his custom, on the Sabbath day. And he rose up to read. And the book of the prophet Isaiah was handed to him. And as he unrolled the book, he found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. Because of this he has anointed me. He has sent me to evangelize the poor, to heal the contrite of heart, to preach forgiveness to captives and sight to the blind, to set the oppressed at liberty, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vindication." And when he had rolled up the book, he returned it to the minister, and he sat down. And the eyes of everyone in the synagogue were fixed on him. Then he began to say to them, "Today this scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing." And everyone gave testimony to him, and they wondered at the words of grace that proceeded from his mouth. Join us for today's reflection. He walked into the synagogue where he had learned to read. This was Nazareth, his hometown, the place where everyone knew him as Mary's boy, Joseph's apprentice, the carpenter who fixed their tables and hung their doors. He had played in these streets. He had memorized Torah in this building. The faces looking at him had watched him grow up. Jesus stood up to read. They handed him the scroll of Isaiah. He unrolled it, found the passage he wanted, and spoke words that had been waiting 700 years for this moment. "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring glad tidings to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, and to proclaim a year acceptable to the Lord." Then he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. Every eye in the synagogue was fixed on him. The silence must have been unbearable. They knew this passage. They had heard it read 1,000 times. It was about the Messiah, the anointed one who would come to set everything right. And now Jesus, the kid they had known since childhood, had just read it aloud and sat down in the posture of a teacher about to explain. Today this scripture passage is fulfilled in your hearing. Today, not someday, not eventually, not when the conditions are right. Today, while you are sitting there, while you are looking at me, while you are trying to figure out what is happening. The thing Isaiah promised 7 centuries ago is standing in front of you wearing the face of your neighbor's son. This is the most audacious claim in human history. Jesus did not say he was preparing the way for the Messiah. He did not say the Messiah would arrive soon. He said the ancient prophecy was fulfilled in their hearing, right now in him. All spoke highly of him and were amazed at the gracious words that came from his mouth, at first. At first they were impressed. The hometown boy done good, such eloquence, such presence. Look how far he has come. But amazement is not faith. Being impressed is not the same as believing. The same crowd that spoke highly of him would try to throw him off a cliff before the day was over. Luke does not include that part in today's reading, but it is coming. The gracious words would curdle into rage as soon as Jesus started explaining what his mission actually meant. John writes that we love because he first loved us. This is the sequence that changes everything. We do not earn God's love by loving well. We do not prove ourselves worthy and then receive affection. He loved us first, while we were still sinners, while we were still captives and blind and oppressed. He loved us first, and that love is what makes our love possible. Whoever loves God must also love his brother. You cannot separate the two. Loving God without loving the person in front of you is not love at all. It is religious performance. It is pious words without flesh. If Jesus came to bring glad tidings to the poor, then following Jesus means caring about the poor. If he came to proclaim liberty to captives, then his people must be in the business of setting captives free. The victory that conquers the world is our faith. John says the commandments are not burdensome because everyone who believes has already won. Faith is not a heavy obligation. It is access to power. It is connection to the one who has already overcome. The psalm declares that the king will rescue the poor from violence and oppression. He shall live and be given gold. Through him all nations shall be blessed. This is the King Jesus claimed to be when he sat down in that Nazareth synagogue. Not a king who conquers through military might, but one who rescues through presence, who sets free through proclamation, who heals through touch. What does it mean that this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing? It means the waiting is over. It means the promises have landed. It means the poor can actually receive good news, the captives can actually walk free, the blind can actually see, not metaphorically, not eventually, today. But it also means you have to decide what to do with the one making the claim. You cannot stay impressed forever. You cannot keep marveling at the gracious words without responding to their content. Either Jesus is who he said he is, or he is a madman who deserves to be thrown off a cliff. The people of Nazareth chose the cliff. They could not accept that the carpenter's son was the fulfillment of their deepest hopes. It was too close, too ordinary, too familiar. They wanted a Messiah who looked like a Messiah, not one who looked like the kid who used to play in the street. Jesus still comes in ordinary forms. He still shows up wearing familiar faces. He still makes audacious claims in settings where people think they already know what is possible, and people still choose between amazement and faith, between being impressed and being transformed. Today this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing. What will you do with today?